Hey guys, welcome to my very first video. Massive shout out to all of you watching. Today we're going to be trying 6 viral TikTok recipes I found while doom scrolling to see if they actually work. And in true chef girl fashion, we'll put these recipes on a tier list to see which one's the best. Let's get started. First up, let's try Dua Lipa's viral ice cream hack. Dua Lipa says,
I don't think chocolate ice cream is that good. So I get vanilla ice cream and I put olive oil on it and sea salt. I don't know, so many people that I've showed it to, I've brought to the dark side.
Okay, let's see if she brings us to the dark side too. Visually, it looks quite interesting, I'd say, but I can't really imagine how it would taste. Guys, I'm kinda scared to try this. Let's give it a go. And on first impression, I thought it was pretty good. It's basically vanilla ice cream, but a bit more salty and creamy. I do feel like this is an acquired taste though. I'd probably give it a B on the tier list. And allow me to introduce our mysterious camera woman.
8 out of 10. It's pretty good.
Next up, we have Catherine Dessert's viral 2-ingredient mango sorbet with 10.4 million views. So I'm actually still in high school, and last year in our French class we made mango sorbet together. Shout out to my French class, that was super fun. Anyway, we did use raw egg whites that time, and I'm pretty sure all of us are still alive, but it's better to avoid raw eggs because of salmonella and all that stuff. This recipe doesn't have any raw egg whites in it, it's just mango and honey, so you can relax. But the raw egg white is meant to help with the sorbet's texture and make it creamier, so I wonder what will happen without it. I've added some frozen mango chunks and some room temperature mango chunks into a blender along with some honey. You can add more or less depending on how sweet you want it to be. Then you're meant to blend it on high for a minute and check the consistency.
Well, it's kind of pretty.
It was looking pretty good, so let's scoop it out onto some hollow mango shells. I'm so happy with the mango shells because it saves you from washing extra dishes. The sorbet was actually really refreshing with a great mango taste, so I'd give it an A on the tier list just because personally I think I'd choose this over Dua Lipa's ice cream. And while this was really good, I don't think anything will beat the sorbet we made during French class. And as for our camera woman,
I'm giving this 9 out of 10.
next up, we have these viral upside-down apple tarts with 1.7 million views. This is actually where I got the idea for this video from because this recipe looked too good to be true. I guess we'll find out now. It's just 3 ingredients, apples, honey, and frozen puff pastry. I had a massive apple phase after watching Death Note because of this guy, so naturally I'm excited to try this recipe. First, you cut an apple into thin slices, and there was no way I was using a green apple, so I used a red one. Guys, I literally spent 10 minutes at the grocery store just staring into the apples trying to find a nice looking one, and the shop assistant ended up asking me if I was okay. Yeah, anyway, I think he thought I was having some kind of existential crisis in the fruit aisle, which honestly doesn't sound like a bad place to crash out. I didn't tell him why I was looking at the apples though. Actually, I haven't even told my parents about this channel, so yeah, leave a comment if you think I should. After squeezing some honey and sprinkling some cinnamon, I sealed the edges down with a fork. Now they're ready to bake. I had some extra puff pastry left over, so I made a little croissant to see what happens. I actually have made croissants from scratch before, but they are the one thing I would not recommend you make at home because instead of costing $6, it costs your sanity. You have been warned. These smell so good. I put this into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 10 minutes, and you can tell when it's done because your house will smell amazing. And in the video, she topped it off with some vanilla ice cream, so let's do that too. This was actually way better than I expected. I would give it our first S on the tier list.
Maybe 7.5 out of 10.
Okay, next up is this viral Chinese cucumber salad with 32.5 million views and 3.2 million likes. Those are some pretty crazy numbers, so let's see if it lives up to the hype. I started off by slicing the cucumber at a 45-degree angle, but not the whole way down because I put 2 chopsticks underneath. I'm not really sure about the degrees Celsius though. Then I flipped it to the other side and I sliced it horizontally. So I was actually born in China and I love this dish, but I've never seen it in this form before. This is definitely my favorite salad because it's not really a salad. Guys, I'm so happy the spiral thing actually worked. Okay, the hard part is done and now we can move on to the fun part. Here's where we add a bunch of seasoning. Guys, this smells amazing. I added soy sauce, vinegar, sesame oil, sesame seeds, and some laoganma. Okay, in case you've never heard of that, let me explain. Laoganma is to China what gochujang is to Korea, or even maybe what Vegemite is to Australia. This kinda deviated from the original TikToker's recipe, but trust me, it's good. I'd give this a solid A on the tier list just behind the sorbet.
I'd say this is 9 out of 10.
The second last recipe is this viral Oreo mug cake with 5.3 million views. It looks really easy, you just crush some Oreos and add milk. I remember when mug cakes first started going viral during the COVID lockdown. I was watching YouTube during Zoom lessons and I actually first started baking during that period because there was nothing else to do. The first thing I ever made were Anzac cookies, and it was a disaster. I think I was meant to use golden syrup, but we didn't have that in the house, so I just used molasses instead, and the cookies came out really burnt, so yeah, I wouldn't recommend. But even though I ended up with something straight out of Nagasaki, I found it fun, so I kept baking as a hobby since then. It's kinda crazy looking back at that 5 years ago, and now that hobby's turned into a channel with the most amazing people. So to you on the other side of the screen, thank you so much for coming along for the journey. Oh, that looks really legit. I microwaved this on medium for a minute and now it's time to taste. I think this was good, but I prefer Oreos uncooked since it was a bit mushy texture-wise, so I think I'll give it a B on the tier list. Okay, for our last recipe for this video, we have a fun spin on a normal breakfast. I feel like this is something Disney characters would make for breakfast, and I'd definitely do it too if I was bothered enough to wake up early. It's kind of like a 2-in-1, you have a toast section with your spread of choice and a fried egg section. I put some Nutella on bread and cut it out using the round edges of a mug and put it in the toaster. This tasted pretty much like normal toast but with a cooler shape since we get a circle instead of a square. But I think the effort to make this and the result aren't equal. And of course, we can't let those bread edges get wasted, so for the second part of this recipe, we're frying an egg into the circle in the middle. Now we also have a perfectly circular fried egg. I added some laogama to the second egg. This tasted pretty much exactly what you think it would taste like. I feel like this is a pretty legit breakfast. But I did love the creativity of this and I had so much fun making it, so I'd bump this into the A tier if you're bored and want to make breakfast a bit differently.
Okay, 7 out of 10.
Congrats on making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned a new recipe or two. I had so much fun tasting all these recipes. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. See you soon!